If you want to do a live interview on Facebook with 2 or more people and go from something plain like this to something like this with logos and comments, then watch this video. Hi, Gary Cruz of theMayStudios.com here. If you're new to my channel, I do tutorials on streaming and more recently tutorials on Ecamm Live. Today I'm going to show you how to present Zoom to Facebook Live using Ecamm Live, because Ecamm Live allows you to do some live switching between presenters and highlighting comments or questions in real time. Now, why would you want to use Ecamm Live when you can present to Zoom by itself? So there's an option in Zoom where you can stream to YouTube, but you need to get the Pro, Business, or Enterprise account. And that allows you to then do live streams to either Facebook, Workplace by Facebook, or YouTube, or a custom live streaming service. But keep in mind that that's only going to be limited to Zoom. Now, the option I've chosen here is to use a switcher like Ecamm Live for Mac. And the reason why I'm focusing on Ecamm Live for Mac is because I have a Mac. You know, if you don't have Ecamm Live, maybe you can look into using OBS, which is available for Mac and PC. And if you're a PC user, check out YouTube to see if there's tutorials on using vMix. But for the first option here, you can see that there's multiple Zoom participants. And in Ecamm Live, I'll show you how to do this by sharing the screen and then zooming in onto each participant. And then for option 2, this one's a little bit more advanced, and I'll show that later on in the video, on how you can share your second display and then zoom and pan on those participants. So in this video, we have 2 participants that I'll switch back and forth on top of a background, a video background. And then I also added elements such as the logo. And then when you set up scenes, think of scenes like a PowerPoint slide. So on the left here, you can see the countdown, the split, the first person Angie, and then Katie. And then using a Stream Deck, which is a switcher basically, that not only works with Ecamm but other apps. But in this example, there's a plugin that allows me to switch between scenes by using buttons. So this is how I have it set up in Ecamm Live. So on my Mac, I'm running Ecamm Live application and also Zoom. And I'm using my HDMI out to go into the HDMI in of my Blackmagic Video Assist. And that's basically my second display, which I can then put Zoom in and then maximize that full screen. And since the Blackmagic Video Assist has a loop out, I'm taking the HDMI out from that video screen, going into a Magewell capture card. This is what I have. See the links in the description below. And this highlights the different options to use Zoom with Facebook Live. You can use a lot of the same concepts with YouTube as well. But in this example, I really wanted to show in a quick overview how you can do this before you get into the 30-minute plus example that I'll be showing later on in the video. In this first example, I'm going to show how to get Zoom set up in Ecamm Live so you can switch between multiple people. So here I am in Ecamm Live. This is the setup. We've got a default scene. And the way I've got it set up is that I've got Zoom being captured as an app in the screen share. Let's take a look at the resources here just so that everyone's aware what kind of CPU activity is taking place. We can see Zoom's taking about 72% and Ecamm Live about 39% right now. It may change as we add some additional screens. Let's check the Zoom preferences. Here in the Zoom preferences, I've got loopback set up, but in this case we'll use same as system. And you can see system audio coming in via Ecamm. And that's going to pick up the mic and audio from the Zoom participants. And the microphone, if I'm talking, I'll use my AirPods as my microphone. This is just on Zoom. So if we switch back over to Ecamm Live, we've got the built-in microphone, which is me. And it's picking up the audio from the speakers. And let's go ahead and create a new scene. Or duplicate this scene. And then this is where we can zoom in on each of the participants. So the first one is going to be Jordan. I'll share Zoom. And then zoom in by using my trackpad by pinching in to zoom in. And I'll just crop that accordingly right on Jordan. And I'll duplicate this. And then I'll do it for the next person. And I'll do this for as many people as I need. Now, the downfall of doing this is that since these images are much smaller, you're basically scaling up a smaller resolution of the boxes in Zoom. And so I can even add myself. So we switch back over to Jordan. You can see that there's a picture-in-picture window there. I can close that out. I just forgot to do that in this example. And I'll just duplicate this and add another person. And what I'm doing here is using the trackpad to pan across the zoom area of the application. So essentially, I'm making a scene for each person or each participant in Zoom. This is where I noticed that the picture-in-picture was in place there. So then I need to go and delete those. Think of scenes as PowerPoint slides, right? I just muted the built-in microphone as well because it's picking up the audio. And then I have to go through and actually change those for each scene. So each scene has its own audio setup as well. But again, the analogy is like a scene is like a slide in PowerPoint. You're just going to arrange it the way you want it to and then present it accordingly. So now I can switch between any of these users by just clicking the appropriate person that's talking. And then if I wanted to show everyone, I'll just click on everyone here and click everyone, and I'll show the entire Zoom gallery. Let's just remove the picture-in-picture on Jordan here. You can even set up the settings so that it removes the name, and then using Ecamm, you can put titles over this. But this is just the basic setup of doing some active switching between Zoom so that you can then present it to Ecamm Live. And then again, here's everybody. Now, if we get out of live demonstration mode, we can see what it looks like full screen. And this is what the audience is going to see as we switch through each of the participants. So all I have to do is either click on the scene using my mouse, or if you have this connected to a Stream Deck, you can use physical buttons to switch between the people that are talking. Zoom automatically does this in full screen mode, but this gives you the flexibility to switch between like a gallery view and then switch over to the full screen version of the people that are talking within Zoom. And then you also have the option of using the added benefits of Ecamm Live, where if this is a question and answer panel, you can pull up questions individually, and then your panelists can answer them accordingly. Another benefit of Ecamm Live is you can pull in presentations, export as a PDF, and you can scale that accordingly into each of your scenes. So if you wanted to take one of these presentations and size it the size of the small windows in Zoom, you can do so. And then you can still have the functionality of paging through there. But again, that's probably not going to be very feasible. So let's move this up a bit and resize this to take about the third of the screen. So let's say if the people on the left are presenting this presentation, you can scroll through here and see the presentation in a pretty good size. And that's one of the advantages of Ecamm Live. In the next segment, I'll show how you can use Ecamm's presentation capabilities to enhance Zoom. let's talk about how I set up this scene here. And we'll start from scratch. I'll click on the plus button. So I have a new scene. It's going to default to my FaceTime camera, which I'm currently not using. And I'm just going to call this split. And then, as you saw earlier, I had some drone footage. And it's kind of like ambient drone footage, meaning that I blurred it out a bit. So you can't really recognize what it is. But it is of LA. So I'm just going ahead and select that. And by default, it's going to set up a PIP or picture-in-picture of my default camera here. All right, so I'm going to resize this accordingly. Put this right over here in the middle. And the way I've set this up is that I'm using my Blackmagic design as a second monitor. So then I have the output of that. I'm going to have to draw this because it gets a little complicated because it's looping back into my Mac. So my iMac has a Thunderbolt to HDMI adapter that goes into my Blackmagic Video Assist. And then my Blackmagic Video Assist has a loop out that goes into my Magewell capture card. So the way I want to do it is that I'll select the camera here. And now I have the zoom. So the next thing I want to do is put a logo. So I have a logo here. I'll just drag this over. It's a PNG. And if you're not familiar with the PNG, this allows you to have a little bit of a transparent background. So this was created earlier, and I'm going to resize this accordingly, right? And there we go. So I can put this right over here. So I recorded the Zoom session earlier, so I'm using this to kind of give me some guidelines on what to expect when they do come on live. All right, so I've got the logo there. And then the next thing I do is I'll go ahead and put in their titles. So under T here, I'll click on that. I'm going to put Angie Wong. And then maybe instead of using that font, I want to find one that matches the look and feel of this. So it's a nice clean looking font, sans serif, ultra white, thin. I like this. So we got Angie Wong right over here. And I wish there was a duplicate button here, but I'll go ahead and just click on T again. And it looks like it defaulted that. So I'll click Katie Newen. And then put her right over here. So that's how I put the zoom with this video overlay. And so when I click on play, I have an option here to loop this video, and it's not very long. It is about 50 seconds long. And so as soon as this ends, it'll just loop back to the beginning. And I have this blurred out because really the attention is on these two. This is just adding another dimension to, look at that. They're really impressed with it going live on Facebook as we're testing this out. So I love that when they get excited about, the technology. Because what you normally see is something like this, right? So if I click on a new scene here, and then I switch to this is what most people are used to. They just see a zoom and having that. So if you compare the standard with the split here, look at that. It makes a big difference, right? And it'll make even a bigger difference when I actually put an overlay using Motion or Keynote with a cutout using ProRes 4444. So then it will have a nicer look to that. So again, this is the standard view that most people are used to watching on YouTube, and then adding some additional elements with the logo and their names. In this section, let's go ahead and check out the audio setup that I have using Loopback. This is from a dry run I did earlier. And sorry that there's no audio because I didn't set up the ScreenFlow with the appropriate microphone to capture the audio. So when I first started the dry run, I noticed an echo. So then I had to go troubleshoot what was going on. So I had to ask my participants, can you hear an echo? What's going on here? Loopback, if you're not familiar, is a way to route my Mac audio to where I need it. Some folks in the Ecamm forums use Black Hole, but what I really like about loopback is that it's very visual. So let's switch over to loopback to take a look at what that looks like. Over here, I have a couple settings. I have zoom loopback, and then I have record. These are virtual devices that you can select in the menu. Oh, this is where I kind of go into details that I'm using Ecamm to set up the zoom setup. And I hide the additional participants so that I'm not going to be the one that's going to be talking in this. Since I have my video turned off, my icon is showing here, but there's an option to turn off or to hide non-video participants. And that's what I did to hide myself because I'm not actively in this interview. You can see this is what I'm going to send over to Ecamm, and I've got record. And then when I turned that off, it actually turned off the echo. But the big problem is that the audio was no longer going to the Blackmagic Video Assist. So I was asking them, well, can you hear an echo now? And yeah, I can hear an echo when I turn it on. So then I turned that off, and I still needed to get my audio into the Blackmagic Video Assist so I can record that separately. So what I did here is I created a separate output channel. And in order to do that, click on the plus sign. It creates channels 3 and 4. And now I'm going to route my microphone, which is the left input here, and delete these that are going into channels 1 and 2. And then I take the output of channels 3 and 4 and I route that over to my Blackmagic Video Assist. So now the audio from my microphone can then be recorded. I just have to make sure that I turn that interface on, and then my microphone will go right over to that device. So here's an example of just kind of switching through and some examples of the commenting overlay. And then here I can add a countdown because we decided that we wanted to have this start 5 minutes early. And the benefit here is when you add this countdown, you have an option to set the time here. We set it to 5 minutes. And this lets your visitors know they're in the right place. I hate going to a site and then not knowing if I'm actually in the right place. So the countdown 5 minutes beforehand, if people are coming early, it lets them know that they're getting audio and video of the right stream. So over here, this is just one example. I'm using the latest version of Zoom, and it supports the Ecamm Live virtual cam. I had to turn off the virtual background. And so now they can actually monitor what's going on live with minimal delay. So there's two ways to schedule a live stream. One is to go ahead and do it from Ecamm itself. So right here, I've selected Facebook, and I'm posting as either myself or any of my business pages. Now, if you're in a group, you have to select your name, and then you can post to any of the groups that you have access to. Now, you can't just go ahead and do that there. There's some prerequisite that you need. So for example, if I need to post it to this particular group, I'm in this group now. So you want to manage your group. You have to have admin access. And then when you have admin access, you click on settings and then scroll down here and you'll see a section under advanced settings called apps. And you need to add the following. You need to add Ecamm Live for Mac. So just click on add apps, search for Ecamm Live, and then that's when you can actually post to a group. Now, if you're using restream.io, you need to do that as well. So I've added both of these. Now that I've got that set within Ecamm, I can post to this and go live now, or I can go ahead and schedule a live. So let's go ahead and schedule a new live. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a title. Okay, with Katie. And that's going to be today at 5 p.m. Let's do 5 p.m. And let's go ahead and select a thumbnail image. So I've got a screenshot here. Let's do that one. Okay. And then what's nice is once we schedule this, okay, so you can see that there's a new notification here. And then what's great is they can set a reminder. So if they click on this, they'll get a reminder. on Facebook that they can join the live at 5 p.m. today. So that's how we go ahead and schedule within Ecamm Live. Okay, it looks like it's working. All right, so I'm recording with ScreenFlow, but I'm using Zoom Loopback for that. And then for Ecamm, I'm using the record. So there's no echo, which is good.
Nice.
Okay, and then I'm using record, which is this, and this is the setup and loopback. So I'm just talking to my audience here for the tutorial. Okay. All right. Do me a favor. Move your camera up a little bit so you're not cutting off the top of your head. Just a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, that looks good. Love the top.
Thank you.
All right. So let me close this out. Close this out. And I will move the Zoom meeting. Once Angie gets on, I'm going to move this screen, full screen, onto my Blackmagic ATEM video so I can record that and then set that up as the screen for the one that's going to go live.
Okay.
All right, so the thing is why is it not showing up here? The scheduled is, so I set up a scheduled post and it should show up here to select, and it's not. So what I'll do is I'll probably just go live directly to the show face-to-face.
Okay.
And then hopefully people will see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get the music going on here. Let's see if this works. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Smell like quarantine spirit, am I right?
Okay, actually.
Less stress, let your mind be free. Shift when the fog lift, you can finally see. There's a feedback loop that delay like an echo. Tune your frequency up and let go.
Let me actually set the scenes on my Stream Deck as well. Okay, let's do my Stream Deck here. Let's see, Stream Deck. Configure Stream Deck. So let's do split. And this one is going to be Katie. And this one's going to be Angie. Oops. Okay. And then I'll go to Ecamm Live so we can put the questions up. Go into preferences and automatically hide. Let's just put that under. There we go. Oh, okay. I think she's. I'm gonna get Angie in here. There we go. She's connecting to audio.
Hi.
Hello. Looking radiant.
Thank you.
All right, so let me put this in the window that needs to be down here. Oh, I need to get you guys side by side.
My cat is eating an egg roll. I don't know if I should stop him.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Your cat is eating an egg roll?
Lucky cat.
He snuck it from my plate earlier.
So cute.
He's so cute. I just don't want to feed him his kibble right now, so I'm just going to let him.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So Angie, what's weird is our scheduled video doesn't show up anymore. So I'm just going to hit the live button and it'll show up anyways. So
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what you mean by that. Anyway.
It's okay. Something must have happened behind the scenes here with the name.
You know what
I don't know if it's you, Katie, or Angie, but I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. So if the audio is a little bit loud on your end, you just turn it down just a bit, or maybe potentially wear headphones so we don't get feedback. So it's up to you. You don't necessarily have to wear headphones. It's just we want to reduce any.
Is that better?
What's that?
Is that better?
Yeah, it is. Okay. Oops. Shoot. I'm going to have to rename this.
I'm going to also print out the Google thingy that
Okay.
I sent the format. Let's see where, there it
Okay,
is.
since Katie came on first, she's on the left. So I can't rearrange it. It's okay.
That's okay.
All right. Katie, Nguyen. Okay. Katie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then, oops. Katie, oops.
Was that the format thingy was okay, right? I mean, it's pretty simple. The format thingy that I had.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. Hope I put your name right. Angie Wong. Okay. All right, so we're going to go live at 4:55.
Okay.
And then hopefully folks will get notification, and then that's when we'll start the countdown.
Cool. So awesome. We have a countdown.
We were playing music earlier. It's very.
Huh?
He was playing music earlier for this.
Yeah, so when the countdown's going on, it'll have some music in the background.
Fun. Woohoo. This is great.
All right, about 2 more
Make
minutes.
sure my phone's, yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
On silent and do not disturb.
Yeah, good idea.
My printer isn't working, which is annoying because I wanted to. I mean, I don't need it, but
Well, you can pull it up on your
I wanna
phone.
kinda have- huh?
You can pull it up on your phone, the document.
Yeah, that's right. You're the best. I love it. Oh, Gary.
Angie going old school with the paper.
Oh, Gary, right? Duh. I didn't think about that.
We're in a digital world.
Mm-hmm. Just put it
All
right
right.
here.
About 30 seconds, I'll click the go live button,
Nice.
and then I'll start the countdown.
Oh, Gary, do you know how to turn off my notifications on my computer?
Yeah, on your top right, there's a little 3 bars. Click on that, and then scroll up and then say do not disturb.
Oh, this is Gina's like the best thing. Learning how to screen record and that are the top 2.
All right. I'm clicking go live now.
Nice.
Okay, and I'll start the countdown right now.
Yeah.
All right, let me just check this stream here.
Should we pull up our
Less stress, let your mind be free. Shift when the fog lift, you can finally see. There's a feedback loop that delay like an echo. New frequency got to let go. Loud and clear is how you need to hear.
All right, let me just check the stream here.
Should we pull up our
Less stress, let your mind be free. Shift when the fog lift, you can finally see. There's a feedback loop that delay like an echo. New frequency got to let go. Loud and clear is how you need to hear.
All right, so I'll keep an eye on comments. We're live.
The stress is still the breath straight out your chest. Make your home feel like prison and transform a pile of wisdom to nihilism. It's the lens, everything look darker in the middle of the night when there's no light.
It's from Facebook, actually.
Feel kind of cold when your own mind hold you hostage in a blindfold, but you can shape shift, break out.
In the meantime, I invite you to get grounded and get ready to bring some questions. Get this conversation going. You can write in the comments as well.
Yeah. You can leave comments or ask questions in the comments, and we'll be able to pull those up.
Perfect.
Yeah, less stress, let your mind be free. Shift when the fog lift, you can finally see. There's a feedback loop that delay like an echo. Tune your frequency up and let go.
So Tina asked, what are we asking questions about?
Yes, Tina. Anything you'd like. This is a free-for-all. Just a space for you to be supported with something you might be going through in the moment and how we can support you moving forward.
Yeah.
All right, this concludes the setup of Zoom with Facebook Live. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, hit that like button and consider subscribing on the way out for more tips and tricks on live streaming and Ecamm Live. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.